Hey kids, Mr. Glenn here. Hope you well. Now we're left you with this pill shape. What we want to do is now sort of merge these layers together so we have like a solid shape. And when you tap on this, when you tap on your shapes onto your layer, sorry, in here, when you tap on them, you get options down the side. And here you've got an option to merge down. So I'm going to go and merge all these down. I'm going to merge that one, and then I'm going to go and do the same thing again. So then I've got a single shape now. So if you want at this point want to go and change the colors, you are welcome to. So I may go and choose a cyan blue this time. I'm just going to see what it looks like, because what I want is this to be my sky. So you could choose whichever sort of blue you like, or if you wanted to go for a sunset, you can go and choose anything in this whole range that you will have to go and change your colors. So the next thing we want to do is just select our shape, because now we've got that whole shape, that whole pill shape. You go to your select tool like this, your arrow at the top, and what we want it to be is to be sort of fat enough and large enough across our canvas. So we also want it to be centered. So as you move your shape around, you can see that there are snapping grids that appear, and you can see they've got a horizontal line and a vertical line there. So as I just move slowly around like this, I want it dead center. And then what I'm going to do is just pull it either side. So I'm going to go and then just pull the corners like so. And you can see that as I pull it, it will keep the aspect ratio. And I want to keep it sort of, there we go. It's going to check that this is dead centered. There we go. And then I'm going to keep it sort of that size across the page. So the next job we want to do is just get rid of the selection, and we want to go into a new layer. And what we're going to do is create a clipping mask. So go into your layer, make a new layer, and then tap on the layer and you'll get your options again. And you can see just underneath mask, it says clipping mask. And that's going to put an arrow pointing down into the next layer. And what that means is that you, and anything you paint in here now, and anything you create inside here is going to stay inside this shape. So we go to clipping mask like that, and you can see there's like a little arrow that appears here. And so when you're on here and you go and paint, just go and get a big brush, for example, and get a round brush, and I'll get another color, dark blue, for example. You can see that it stays within that layer. Okay, so you don't need to worry about going out of the lines or anything else like that. And the reason we do that is because when we go to do the hills, so like this, for example, and we bring it back in, we can go and create a whole shape that we can go out and paint in there, rather than that happening like that. So I've just missed off an edge. So when we create a shape, we can go and join it all up and paint that actual color inside. So that's what we want to use. You just saw me do something there. So what I can do is hold down my colors, and it will go back to my previous color. So you can see that I just held that down, and now I've got a long press for my color swap. So I'm going to make that clipping mask, and what we're going to do now is start to create some hills in our artwork. Now to make our hills, we're going to have to build from the bottom up, making the layers from the bottom so they go into our hills. So make sure you're in monoline. So you go into calligraphy, monoline, go and get your monoline. And what we're going to do now is go and choose something like this green that I've got in my palette for you. So I'm going to grab this green. And when we make the hill, just like I talked about just a second ago, you're going to have to go and make sure that everything's joined together. So I'm going to go and just create a hill. And what I'm going to do is just make sure that that is closed off, because when I come to fill it in a second, what's going to happen is you need that. Okay, you want that kind of effect. So what I might do is just sort of experiment with the type of hills that I want and show you what they kind of look like, because they have different effects as you go through the whole picture. So what I've done is just go quite low with my hill, and then what I'm going to do is then go and build a layer up. So I've constantly got this clipping mask going all the way down through my artwork. So there you can see when I go make a new layer, I've still got that clipping mask going on, which is still going to go into this pill shape. So every time I draw now, it's going to go into the pill shape, and the clipping mask is going to go into that, so that I can go off and around my pill shape. The next color I want is something like a lighter green. I'm going to go with this green, and then I'm going to go and just make a hill on this side. This is the same green. I don't want this one. I'm going to get my yellow green, for example, for argument's sake. Now let's just go and work out why that was drawing the way it was. Go into my layers. It's because I've accidentally turned my layer off. There we go. Go make another layer. And now I'm going to paint underneath this hill with my lighter green. But my clipping mask is not on. There we go. That's more like it. And then I'm going to pull that in. It's now got a hill on that side. Maybe I could just make it a bit bumpier. Perhaps go make a new layer. And this time what I'm going to do is just have a darker green. Maybe this blue-green-ish. Go and choose that. Go make a new layer underneath this one, I think. Like so. I'm going to have this darker green on that side. And you can see that they're sort of crazy shapes. They're not sort of L shapes at all. Okay, so I'm going to keep it like that. Maybe I want it sort of darker going into the distance, but it should be okay. And I can add maybe another layer perhaps. Okie dokie. What we're going to do now is I'm going to put some wavy lines on there. I'm going to let you have a go at this now, and then I'm going to show you about the wavy lines with the set of blues that I've got here that are going to make our hills in the background. Right, go and make this, and then I'll see you in the next bit.